Hello and welcome to New Wave Media. I'm really pleased that today Bina Server has joined me, and Bina Server needs no introduction for those in the US as well as in Pakistan, India, and across South Asia and other parts of the world. Bina is a very well-known journalist, an author, an activist, and there are many other sort of facets to her varied personality. This evening, I requested Bina to speak about her new initiative, which is South Asia Peace Action Network. And I'm really privileged and honored to be part of it as well. But I think it merits a serious discussion and an introduction to those who don't know about it. Because it is something that involves not just people in North America or India and Pakistan, but I think people who, all of those who are interested in a peaceful South Asia that can coexist and peacefully different nations and different nationalities. I think it's a very significant sort of platform. So Bina, welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Raza.
Yeah. So
Good to be
Bina,
here.
of course, you are a you're a long-time journalist, reporter, editor, and of course an activist. They also call here in the US there was a movement called Jacktivists. Journalist
Oh, really?
activists.
I didn't know
Yes.
about that.
So I wanted to say that Bina is a Jacktivist, but
I don't
Bina.
very, I don't think I like that very much.
Yeah, I know, Jack. It's like,
Jack of all trades.
yeah, but Bina, because you have been a great proponent of India-Pakistan peace and South Asian amity, and I really want to you to tell the viewers about this story of how South Asia Peace Action Network started, and what was the sort of driving spirit behind it.
Yeah, so I mean, as you remember, this is something that one of my mentors, Dr. Mubashir Hassan, had said to me many years ago, that if France and Germany can be put aside centuries of animosity and hostility and be part of the same European Union, why can't India and Pakistan, which have so much in common, and we have much more cultural affinity and culinary and music and so many things, even if we are different north to south and east to west, but there is
Right.
still a geographic unity amongst us. So as you said that I've been working on India-Pakistan peace issues for such a long time, and it just seems like we just take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or even 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and it just doesn't seem to get anywhere. At the time when Pakistan is being, as we say, insan ke bache, or like being more humanistic, then India becomes, starts acting up, and when India is being more reasonable, Pakistan starts acting up. So we're like so fed up of this. Why can't you both behave reasonably at the same time?
Right.
And then, because there doesn't seem to be any point in, like, I mean, if we keep headbutting like this, there's no point. So we thought that it's like, if we take a regional approach and like keep pushing that narrative and keep, get more people on board and express that solidarity, that regional solidarity and all of that, then maybe we can make some headway in the narrative in terms of forging our own narrative rather than just reacting to that of others. So we had that meeting, and you were there at that first meeting, and we had over 80 activists, over 80 people from around the region and some in the diaspora got together online. This was the time of COVID. And because of my training with the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, and the way that I know that we had done meetings, so we had a plenary speaker. I think you were one of the plenary speakers, and we had breakout rooms. We had, I think, about 8 breakout rooms, and we had moderators for each room, and we had rapporteurs for each room, and they all produced a report and came together and presented it to the plenary. And we had a resolution at the end that we presented, that people endorsed, in which we said that we have to, that we would like South Asia to be, for the governments to institute soft borders, to allow visas on arrival, or at least allow people to, like soft borders and trade and travel, because we lose so much money. We are only, I think the whole region, the intra-regional trade is fourth of its potential right now. And can you
Yes.
imagine how much benefit it would be to the people of the region? So make
Yes.
people-centered policies. And so we launched this, and then since then we've been having discussions on the last Sunday of every month, pretty much, except for some months, June, July, and December last year. So we've had 16 public discussions with a host of well-known speakers and participants, people like the UN Rapporteur, Dr. Radha Kumaraswamy, Amartya Sen has joined us, Noam Chomsky has joined us, Raza, you have joined us, Najam Sethi, Khushi Kabir, Kanak Dixit from Nepal, Nalaka Gunawardene from Sri Lanka. We've had the Afghan, we've had Dr. Seema Samar. We've had, and I'm leaving out names, and we've had like some really incredible and well-known
Yes.
people with us.
Yes, exactly. And Bina, this is really, really, encouraging that, not only that you have forged this huge network, because it just, I mean, it does not focus on India and Pakistan only, because often we forget that, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, all of other South Asian countries matter so much, and they're equally important, if not more, actually, in my view. And, so how has been the experience navigating different time zones, different geographies of the in of the
Yeah,
mind, of
yeah,
the territory. So tell
yeah.
us a bit about that. I mean, how do you do it?
Yeah, I think this online world is we complain about Zoom time, too much Zoom time and all, but it really has become a lifeline for us. And when I think of okay, it's 6 o'clock, it's 9 a.m. here, so it's going to be whatever time it is in India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, and you get to know what's happening with in whichever time zone. And fortunately, most of the people we are working with are kind of late owls in the South Asian region, and then they end up they don't mind being up late, and so we often our meetings are usually held around 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock p.m. Pakistan India time. And it's kind of fun. And we've had forged pretty deep relationships and friendships. Many of those people I knew personally, or I had interacted with in person, but some I have never met. But it doesn't feel like that, because we become very close. You become,
Mm.
as you might remember from the times of romances over phone calls, you can get very close to someone without ever meeting them.
Yes, yes, yes. Very nicely put, and a good example. But Bina, tell me something. What sort of enthusiasm have you noticed among our friends from India or Bangladesh? Because often, the cynics always say, "Oh well, nothing's going to happen," and nobody wants to talk about peace. I always hear this, and as you know, I don't believe in that. But I mean, I'd like you to give me your perspective.
I think people are tired of the violence and the name calling and the, violent rhetoric and the aggression and all that. But people won't feel that there's anything they can do. Like, what can we do about it? Hum kya kare, aisi ki kare. But the thing is that when you start bringing people together, and then people remember, a fist is stronger than, separate. Together we are stronger. Which is why the clenched fist is more powerful than the when giving somebody the finger, for example. but
Yes.
but I think that we have a lot of young people with us, which is really wonderful. Volunteers, people are very enthused. I find there's a lot of like the websites have been built entirely by volunteers. The website, the South Asia Peace website, and now the Sapan News website, because Sapan News, as you know, grew out of South Asia Peace, and it's become a new syndicated service to amplify these voices. And right now it's in a we're taking baby steps. It's a very new thing right now, but it's like growing, I think, and we have a lot of traction already. So it's been I think it's part of a journey, and I don't know, we may never see peace in our lifetime, but at least when our children or their children say, what did you do? Then we
Yes.
say we tried. We
Yes.
really tried. you know
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I know that Sapan's meetings, which are held every Sunday, every last Sunday of the month, and Bina ensures that it happens and everybody participates. So Bina, you have covered so many issues, other than politics, like how can we collaborate on sports, on road safety, on public health, on labor rights, on women's rights, so many variety of issues. So tell me, which are the areas where you have seen the most sort of coming together of these different ideas and
It's hard to say.
expertise?
I think every single issue we've taken up, you mentioned some of them, the rights of the incarcerated, people in prisons,
Mm,
music and mysticism, art and activism. You mentioned several of the issues already, violence, gender violence, and we
yes.
called it, we give pretty inventive names to most of our discussions. And this one was called Feminize to Humanize. And that was a brainchild of Lalita Ramdas, Lolly, who's married to Admiral Ramdas, the former chief of the Indian Navy, who's also part of our network. And their daughter, of course, one of them is married to a Pakistani, Kavita Ramdas, and they had to leave India. They are living in New York now, but they are very much, part of this journey as well. The road safety one really, because, and when we had our road safety discussion, I think just then a very senior member of you're looking at the YouTube channel. A
Yes.
very senior member of our, an Indian minister had died in a car crash. And so these are some of the YouTube videos that are there, and they are now on the Sapan News channel.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
and
So yeah, I was just going to move to Sapan News. I thought we should also talk a bit about that. So tell us how Sapan News emerged from the network, from the
yeah.
coming together of these minds.
So, because I'm not just an activist, but a journalist, because and I've been thinking about that a lot because of this Razia Bhatti memorial lecture that I'm giving this talk. So, we're having these discussions, and my instinct and my one thing that really drives me is to make sure to get the word out. I don't think that just putting out a video is enough. Maybe I'm old fashioned that way. I think there needs to be a report about it,
Of
one
course.
that you can, scan and that you can read very quickly, rather than, because when you're looking at a video that's an hour long, it's, yes, now you have auto generated text and all that, but still, it doesn't, I mean, that's just me. I just like to spread the word through text, and it
Right.
is English text because that's the common language that we have. So we started sending out initially press releases, and and I had all these volunteers helping me to write those press releases, writing drafts, and then I would do the final editing. And then we started doing reports. We said, actually, what, let's just do proper reports. Let's not do press releases, let's do proper reports. So, like, for example, the sportswomen one, we actually did a nice report. I did it with Priyanka, who's now doing her MPhil in Cambridge. And we did a report on that, and we sent it out to a lot of newspapers, and several of them carried it. And then I did a report. So then the first thing we did that was not related to the Sapan network, I did a report about a Pakistani family that was stuck in India, a Hindu family that wanted to go back to Pakistan because they wanted the joint family system. They didn't, just being with people who were mostly Hindus, religion was not enough. So that was, one of the things that we try to go beyond the stereotypes of Hindu, Muslim, or beyond the binaries. So I did this report on this family, which got stuck because the wife died just before, the day before they were to cross the border, and they couldn't go because the little daughter's name was on the wife's passport. And that report, instead of, normally I would have just written it and sent it to one or two outlets, and I ended up sending it to a bunch, and I said, this is a Sapan feature. And so then I was like, actually, why don't we do this every time? Why don't we call it a Sapan news feature? Why don't we call it? So it just evolved. It sort of, I feel like it organically grew out of that whole thing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So for the viewers, so that there's a network that is engaged in dialogue, in exchange of ideas, advocacy, bringing experts from the region together to find common solutions. But then the news network is what highlights some of these common threads, as well as the issues and their solutions. So, Bina, the best of luck with that. And I hope that our viewers, please do check out Sapon. It is on Twitter, it is on Facebook, there's a YouTube channel, there's also
LinkedIn.
and LinkedIn. Yes, for those who are, I know there are different communities everywhere. So please do follow it and become part of Sapan, support its activities, attend its public events. And Bina, we'll keep on talking about that as we go along, because I can say that in the last 2 years since you started it, it has really grown and it has become an effective model of online advocacy and engagement. I think this is a real success, something that the South Asian governments can't stop us from doing, something that the visa regime cannot really impede. It gives us that kind of space to come together. And I think I really admire your work, and I hope that others will also support this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Raza. Thank you so much. Thanks.